Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment right now and just breathe. Just breathe. Deep breath in, hold it, and release. That's not just oxygen you're bringing into your body. That's control. That's presence. That's awareness. And from that place of awareness, we can begin the journey to something even more powerful: action. This year, the theme is loud and clear. Turn awareness into action. And let me tell you something straight from the heart. Awareness is the first step, but it's never the final destination. Awareness is what wakes us up. Action is what transforms us. Now let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever felt like you were carrying the weight of the world? How many of you have smiled on the outside while screaming on the inside? You know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's the stress of your job. Maybe it's the burnout that no vacation seems to fix. Maybe it's that voice in your head that whispers you're not enough, no matter how much you achieve. Here's the truth. You are not alone. Not by a long shot. Even the strongest warriors bleed sometimes. Even the loudest motivators have quiet battles. Even the most confident among us have moments of deep insecurity. But here's the good news. Mental health is not a weakness. It's a signal. It's your body and your mind calling for alignment. It's an invitation to grow stronger, not just survive, but to thrive. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was coaching a young entrepreneur, bright guy, hustler. On the outside, he was crushing it. Raised millions in funding, had a huge following, and was running one of the but he thought awareness was enough. It's not. Because if you don't act, awareness becomes anxiety. It becomes paralysis. So what did we do? We got to work. We created a system for him, a routine, a way to connect his emotional state to real, measurable habits. He started meditating for 10 minutes a day. He started journaling, just one page every night to dump the mental clutter. He delegated tasks he didn't need to do. And most importantly, he gave himself permission to pause. Within 3 months, that same guy was sleeping again. His energy was back. His creativity was back. And most of all, his joy was back. Because mental resilience isn't about toughing it out. It's about training your inner world like you train your body. Let me ask you this. If you go to the gym once and do a few push-ups, are you fit? Of course not. So why do we think one conversation, one motivational video, or one awareness campaign will fix years of emotional weight? It doesn't work that way. Resilience is a practice. Emotional fitness is a muscle. And if you don't train it, life will train it for you with pain. Let me give you a few core truths that I live by when it comes to building emotional resilience. Feeling stuck emotionally, get moving physically. That's not motivational fluff. That's neuroscience. Movement changes your state. I don't care if it's a 5-minute walk, jumping jacks, or dancing in your living room like a maniac. Move. Don't wait to feel better to act. Act to feel better. When your mind is all over the place, routines become your anchor. Start small. A morning ritual. A bedtime routine. One habit that gives you predictability in a chaotic world. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. If your standard is I have to be everything to everyone, then welcome to burnout. Set boundaries. Say no without guilt. Protect your peace like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. Stop trying to be unbreakable. Be real. Be raw. You don't have to share your story with the whole world, but you need to face it. Talk to a coach, a therapist, a friend who listens without fixing. Because every time you speak the truth of your pain, you take away its power. Now let's take it deeper. How many of you know someone who's going through the motions every day, but they've got no fire left? Maybe that someone is you. Maybe you've been telling yourself, I'll rest after this project, I'll feel better after this deadline, I'll slow down after I get that promotion. Let me break it to you gently. There will always be another deadline, another project, another goal. But you only get one life. And if you don't take care of your inner world, no outer success will ever be enough. You've got to stop living in someday. Someday is a dream killer. Someday is the enemy of action. The time to protect your mental health is not later. It's not next week. It's now. Right now, in this moment. You've got to decide, what does emotional resilience mean for you? Is it being able to bounce back from stress? Is it staying calm when everything's falling apart? Is it simply being able to breathe deeply and say, I'm okay and I've got this? Because whatever it means to you, I promise you this. It starts with a decision, not a perfect plan, not a magical technique. Just the decision to say, I'm not going to abandon myself anymore. You're still here with me, and that tells me something powerful. You're not just interested in change. You're committed to this. That's what makes the difference. And commitment, real commitment, is where transformation begins. We don't wait for ideal circumstances. We create them, not outside, but within. Let me ask you something deeply personal. When was the last time you actually gave yourself credit? Not for the big wins, but for the fact that you made it through something tough. See, we live in a world obsessed with results. We celebrate promotions, milestones, trophies, but we overlook resilience. We don't clap for ourselves when we get out of bed on a hard day. We don't give ourselves a standing ovation when we choose not to give up, even though everything in us wants to. But that's where real power lives. That quiet moment of choice. That tiny yes to yourself in the middle of a mental storm. That's what builds the emotional armor you need to face life. And here's something that might surprise you. Emotional resilience isn't about feeling good all the time. No, it's about feeling everything and still choosing to move forward. It's about standing in the eye of the storm and saying, I may be scared, but I'm still here. I remember working with a Navy SEAL who once told me, we don't train to avoid pain. We train to navigate through it with clarity and purpose. And that applies just as much to life as it does to combat. Life will test you. It will stretch you, but it will also shape you if you let it. You have to shift your relationship with struggle. Most people see struggle as something to avoid. But what if you could see it as a classroom? A forge? A place where your spirit gets refined? Think of the toughest moment in your life, the one that nearly broke you. And now, think about who you became because of it. I'll bet you found strength you didn't know you had. I'll bet you gained wisdom you couldn't have learned any other way. That's the hidden gift of adversity. And if you're in a storm right now, don't curse it. Learn from it. Now let's get practical. Because motivation without action is just hype. You can feel inspired all day, but if you don't anchor it into your life, it fades. So here are 3 actionable things you can start doing today to build your emotional resilience from the inside out. First, master your mornings. How you start your day determines how you live your day. If the first thing you do is check your phone, scroll through bad news, and react to emails, you're putting yourself in a reactive state. Instead, start with intention. Stretch, breathe, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It sounds simple, but that simplicity is what makes it powerful. When you start your day with gratitude and clarity, you become the thermostat, not the thermometer. You set the tone. You don't just react to it. Second, build a mental health toolkit. Just like you have a physical first aid kit for injuries, you need an emotional one. What calms you down when you're anxious? What centers you when you're overwhelmed? Is it journaling, calling a friend, going for a walk, listening to calming music? Build a list. Keep it close, and use it before things spiral. Third, make room for recovery. High performers understand that recovery is not optional. It's strategic. If you keep going without rest, your body and mind will force you to stop, often in painful ways. Schedule time to disconnect. Block it on your calendar. Treat it like a meeting with your soul. Because burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a warning sign that you've drifted too far from your center. And let's talk about connection. Because emotional resilience doesn't grow in isolation. One of the biggest lies we've been sold is the idea that we have to figure it out alone. That's not strength. That's pride. And pride is a lonely place to live. You need people. You need conversations that don't just skim the surface. You need spaces where you can say, I'm not okay, and still feel respected. That's why building real connections is so vital. Not just social media interactions. Real connection. Face to face. Voice to voice. Heart to heart. When I coach people, one of the first things I ask is, who do you have in your corner? Who listens to you without trying to fix you? Who reminds you of your worth when you forget? If you can't name anyone, that's your first action step. Find your tribe. Whether it's a coach, a therapist, a support group, or just a good friend, get connected. And let me say this loud and clear. Asking for help is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's strength. It's self-respect. We're not meant to do life alone. We grow faster, heal deeper, and rise higher when we walk together. Now, maybe you're listening and thinking, Tony, I've tried all this before. Now, maybe you're listening and thinking, Tony, I've done the journaling, the affirmations, the workouts, and I still feel like I'm drowning. I hear you, and I want you to know something vital. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper. Sometimes healing looks like getting out of bed when you didn't want to. Sometimes it looks like saying no to something toxic. Sometimes it's just taking a deep breath and not giving up. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep. I've worked with Olympic athletes, CEOs, and everyday warriors. And you know what they all have in common? They've all had moments of doubt, fear, and exhaustion. But the ones who rise are the ones who don't let those moments define them. They define the moment instead. And that's what I want for you. You don't have to wait for life to get easier. You just have to get stronger. Not by force, but by focus. Not by perfection, but by... So here's the challenge I'm giving you today. Turn your awareness into action. Don't just nod your head. Don't just feel inspired. Choose one thing from everything we've talked about and apply it right now. Make a call. Write it down. Block that time. Have the conversation. Take the walk. Begin. You're not broken. You're becoming. And the greatest version of you, the most resilient, alive, unstoppable version of you, is not found by avoiding the struggle. It's forged in the middle of it. Now, here we are, right at the edge. You've walked with me through awareness, through action, through challenge, and truth. And now it's time for the most important part, the decision to make this your new way of life. Because real transformation doesn't happen when you hear the message. It happens when you live it. Listen, your mental health is not a side quest. It's not something you deal with when it gets bad enough. It's the foundation. It's the center. Every dream, every relationship, every business, every goal, it all sits on the quality of your mental. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't build a meaningful life on a foundation of exhaustion, numbness, or constant self-doubt. You can do it. You deserve to be successful. You can create anything. You are amazing. You are a superstar. You are loved. You are worthy. You want to be unshakable? You want to be that rock for your family, your team, your community? Then start by creating space inside, where peace isn't something you chase, it's something you create. Let me share one more story with you. Years ago, I met a single mother at one of my events. She was in her early 40s, working 2 jobs, raising 3 kids, and doing everything she could to keep it together. She came up to me in tears and said, "Tony, I feel like I'm drowning, but I can't stop swimming." I looked her in the eyes and said, "You're not drowning, you're tired." And there's a difference. So we dug deep. We created a roadmap, not for success out there, but for peace in here. She started taking 15 minutes every morning before the kids woke up, just to sit in silence, breathe, and set her intention. She changed her inner dialogue from "I have to survive" to "I deserve to feel good." She reached out to a counselor, joined a support group, and slowly, step by step, she turned her chaos into clarity. Not overnight. Not perfectly, but persistently. Today, she runs her own nonprofit helping other single mothers find emotional strength. She's not just surviving, she's leading. That's right. Working together. Rebuilding together emotionally and financially. A new life for me, one big step for mankind. Because that's what happens when you stop seeing emotional health as a burden and start seeing it as a superpower. You've got that same power inside you. But let's be real. This isn't about feeling motivated for a few minutes and then forgetting everything by tomorrow. This is about drawing a line in the sand. About saying, enough, the old story. I am done living at the mercy of stress, pressure, and overwhelm. I am choosing resilience. I am choosing action. I am choosing myself. So what does that look like today? Maybe it means taking that therapy session you've been putting off. Maybe it means turning your phone off an hour earlier and giving your brain a break from the noise. Maybe it means journaling the beliefs that are draining you and writing new ones that empower you. Maybe it means finally talking to someone about what you've been carrying for far too long. Whatever it is, you already know what it is. Deep down, you know the next right step. So don't wait for a sign. This is your sign. Don't wait for permission. You don't need it. Don't wait for it to feel easy. You are strong enough to do it, even when it's hard. And here's something I want you to tattoo on your heart. You are not your anxiety. You are not your trauma. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your darkest day. You are the one who survived those things. You are the one who's still standing. You are the one who is becoming stronger through it all. You've got more courage than you've given yourself credit for. More resilience than you've tapped into. More potential than you've even begun to activate. And when you turn that awareness into consistent daily action, even the smallest steps, you begin to shift everything. You become somewhat steadily, strongly, powerfully. Because mental health and emotional resilience aren't about escaping hard times. They're about becoming the kind of person who thrives through them, who grows through them, who uses their own healing to light the way for others. So let me ask you one final question. Are you ready to live like that? Not just talk about it, not just think about it, but truly embody it? Because if you are, then this moment right here, this very breath you're taking, is the beginning of a whole new chapter. You've heard the message. You've felt the fire. Now it's your turn to write the rest of the story with courage, with clarity, and with action. Your resilience isn't coming. It's already here. Turn your awareness into action and let's go change the world, starting with your own. Let's go.